Great Debaters Contest is brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.
Hello and welcome to the semi-finals of the Great Debaters Contest. I am your host, Austin Nyambok.
And I am Mariam Bishar.
Scandal versus Papa Shirandula. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills versus the Real Housewives of Kawangware. Is the local film industry suffering at the expense of foreign media content?
And the people you see on stage before you debating this motion are students who have come from far. We began this year at the regional level, took it to the interregionals, the nationals, the quarters, and now we're at the semifinals. So we'd like to welcome UTUMISHI Boys and Strathmore School to this debate. The first proposer, you have 3 minutes to kick us off.
Let me give you a list of movies that I have not watched. Something Necessary. Does that ring a bell? No, not really? Okay. Here's a movie that I haven't watched. X-Men. Does that ring a bell? It does? Yeah, now that is our problem. We are a lot too familiar with Western films, aren't we? Yes, I think so. But before we get into things like that, let's first start by defining the terms. So what do I mean when I say that the Kenyan film industry is suffering at the expense of foreign content? I'll start with the film industry. Basically, a film refers to a motion picture. What's a motion picture? A series of consecutive pictures moving at such a speed as to give the illusion of natural movement. What is an industry? An industry basically is the process of creating something and the business of manufacturing it, right? So the film industry in Kenya is the sector of the economy that is dedicated towards making films, motion pictures. So here we're talking about series and movies and, may I even say it, music videos in Kenya. So this is run by Kenyans, written by Kenyans, and acted in by Kenyans. What is foreign? In this context, it means something that doesn't have to do with Kenya, including, I am very sad to say, Ankansime. Why do I think that the Kenyan film industry is suffering at the expense of foreign content? Well, I think it's really quite simple. Imagine that you wanted to watch a movie, and you don't belong to any video library, and your channels on TV aren't going to help you very much because they only show movies towards the end of the day, right? Right, yes. So, you want to buy a movie. What kind of movie do you think you're most likely to find? A foreign movie. I know places, I'm sorry to say, where you can get a 6-in-1 CD. So a CD, beg your pardon, a DVD that gives you 6 movies for 50 shillings. Right, contrast that with if I wanted to buy the acclaimed film Nairobi Half-Life. How much does it cost? 1,000 shillings in Nakumatt. Now, are you telling me that I am going to stand up and save my money for 20 weeks if I was making 50 bob a week, and then go and buy Nairobi Half-Life because it's Kenyan? No, I'd prefer to buy the 6-in-1, you see, because foreign content is more accessible. So, of course, the Kenyan film industry is suffering because of foreign content. It's obvious. Thank you.
We now welcome the first opposer. You have 3 minutes.
Philip Ofula from UTUMISHI Academy, opposing the motion that the Kenyan film industry is suffering at the expense of foreign content. Subjective matters. Well then, I do appreciate, as much as might it be illegal, the people who are pirating movies. Now, I do happen to know a place where I can gain access to Nairobi Half-Life. Oh my Lord, I love that movie. To a very, affordable price of 50 shillings. So if you want such a movie, and also if you want to actually help grow your own film industry, kindly do see me after the debate. And equally now, I'd like to invite you to embrace something once said by Jeffrey Kennedy. If art is to nourish our culture, then the society should free the artist for him to follow the vision wherever it leads him. So in Kenya, for instance, according to the statistics by the Strategic Public Relations and Research Institution, it was found that 35% of Kenyans were slightly likely to watch a movie, say, with Kenyan content over foreign content. Now, we are saying that the problem actually in itself is the foreign content. But personally, I do think that the problem lies within the Kenyans ourselves. Now, we tend to neglect and slobber over the foreign content, or maybe per se other film forms and contents. We ape these other styles and we incorporate them into ourselves. The problem is our inferiority complex and not actually what is suffered by or is brought upon us by the foreign content. Equally, the Business Daily report, it states that high cost production of movies in Kenya is actually one of the factors that is stifling the growth of our film industry. For one to shoot a movie in Malindi, I am to pay 100,000 per person per day, 100,000. And that is rather exorbitant if you ask me. And to shoot the same movie in the street in Nairobi is 50,000 shillings. Now, if as Kenyans we are to be corrupt, or maybe, sorry to say so, not embrace our own culture, then how are we to have the film industry grow? So with such statistics, I beg to ask you to actually incline your leniency to favor of logic and not actually subjective opinions or how things are viewed by people personally. Thank you.
We now get into rebuttals, beginning with the proposing team. You have 3 minutes for your cross-examination.
I recently bought a pair of jeans. Yes, a pair of jeans made in the USA. Now, this funny story about this pair of jeans is that they were made in Kenya. But wait, they were made in the USA. That's what I just said. But the thing is, this company that makes these jeans branded them made in the US. And they actually recorded a profit of 35%. Shocking, isn't it? Why? Because it was made in the USA. And yeah, we agree that the Kenyan film industry is suffering. That's why we're here. That's what we are saying. We know the cost of production is high. We agree with that. We thank you for telling us. But now, what are we going to do about it? My friend Ron will come and tell you that shortly. Now, after I bought my pair of jeans, I was in a car driving along Wayakiwe, and I saw a banner. X-Men. Wow. I was enthralled. I wanted to watch it. I bought a ticket to watch the movie. What do I mean? Kenya's film industry is suffering. Because if you see Western culture, Western films, foreign films are given priority in this country of ours. Western films or foreign films are advertised more than our Kenyan films. My friend said that it is harder for you to buy Nairobi Half-Life, which is a Kenyan movie in Kenya. Now, the thing is, many people didn't know about Nairobi Half-Life before it won an accolade at the Cannes Film Festival. It didn't even premiere in Kenya. How sad. Our own movie not premiering here? Why? Foreign content. When foreign content is brought, and when it is there, Kenyans or the Kenyan attitude towards it is not to want it. We've seen it. So, another thing is that there's low production. These foreign films, they edge out the local content. They make it less and less and less and less more valuable. And you see, as Kenyans, we cannot be able to compete. Why? Let me give an example of China. China is a country and it has a film industry that is the third largest in the world. Why? Because they have mostly local content. According to the Business Daily, Kenya has the capacity to earn this country the Kenyan film industry, sorry, has the capacity to earn this country 60 billion shillings annually. Why should we continue with foreign content? It is the problem. Let's get rid of it. Let's kill foreign content. Thank you.
We'll now have the rebuttal from the opposition. You have 3 minutes.
Beloved audience, my salutations. Now I'd like to start by asking a question. What do we need to make a movie? I have a checklist here and I think you can help me to tick it off. First of all, you need talent. And I believe in Kenya we have plenty of that. Lupita Nyong'o is just one of the examples. We need content. We have that in Kenya. The film Walking with the Lions won in the Swedish Film Awards. It's a story about Morans chasing after a lion. That's content. It's rare. We need originality. Nairobi Half-Life. There's no city like Nairobi. It's original. We are not aping New York Speed Drift or NFS Tokyo. Nothing like that. And we have setting. Kenya is one of the most scenic countries we have. I mean, the tourism industry is practically the backbone of our economy nowadays. Then we come to the more grave matters we need to make a film in Kenya. Funding. Now, filmmakers in Kenya were interviewed by the Business Daily again. And they were asked what it is they find hard to help them make their films. And funding was the foremost factor they raised. Like Philip said, it costs 100,000 per scene per day to shoot in Malindi. Before you break even, if you are a filmmaker, before you break even, how many tickets do you need to sell to make 100,000? We also have the problem of marketing. That's another thing we need. Now, the only reason why Kenyans will prefer foreign content over local content is because foreign content is everywhere. It's more visual. Humans are visual creatures. We see the posters, we see the traffic lights with the advertisements on them, we see them on the news, on the TV, in the paper, and we are attracted to it. We lack funding and marketing. Now, the very foremost problem that is facing the film industry is not content, but the Kenyans themselves. Why do you not buy Kenyan movies? You have this preset mentality that, Kenyan movies are down, Kenyan movies are low quality, Kenyan movies have no story, Kenyan movies have no action, they have no graphics, you know? Is it true? Is it true? Well, now we have the Kenya Film Commission which has been given the mandate to control the film sector. Now it's preposterous that we give a body that spends 78 million of its 88 million budget on administration and not on films. What is that? That is the ailing factor in the Kenyan film industry. 78 over 88. They're just leaving 10 for films. 10 million is basically what one film needs to run. The issue then is that there is no goodwill from broadcasters to support Kenyan filmmakers. There was a story recently in the dailies, I won't mention the local media house, but they wanted to buy a Kenyan produced series at 100,000, the same amount of money they used to import it, to import the telenovas, the soap operas we love. And there is no way that we are going to foster the Kenyan industry if we do not want to pay what it deserves. We need to sponsor the Kenyan film industry. We need to make that pinch because it will come back to itself. If that movie is imported by Mnet, we'll be good. So I believe, really, foreign content is not the problem. We are. Thank you.
You can send money through M-Pesa to someone in a different location. You could pay rent using M-Pesa. You could pay electricity bill using M-Pesa. You could pay water through M-Pesa. You could also buy someone else credit through M-Pesa. You could buy yourself credit through M-Pesa.
Take part in the M Challenge by sending your short song, rap, or poem about Safaricom M-Pesa on WhatsApp, and you could win 1,000 shillings in Safaricom airtime.
Mohamed Abdullahi representing Light Academy. My question goes to the first proposer. Don't you understand that the movies that we usually buy at 50, actually I have some in my bag, are corrupt? This is what we ban locally. not allowed by law. Do you understand that? And whatever that is being sold in Nakumatt for 1,000 is a result of what the Music Copyright Society of Kenya is doing. Thank you.
I'm Claudine Wangare from the Kahuya Girls High School. And the first proposer said he knows where to get Half-Life for 50 shillings. Is this not a proof that local film is suffering?
Proposer number 3, you have 3 minutes to respond.
I would like to answer Mohammed's question. He even said that he has a few 50-shilling movies in his bag. Why don't you have Nairobi Half-Life? Isn't it? The 50-shilling movie is readily available. I need not prove any further that the Kenya film industry is suffering. And as my opponents have said here clearly, that there are problems, but what are the solutions to these problems? They have talked about how expensive it is. Money is the problem. And where do we get money? The government, incentives. Foreigners, we can get foreigners to come and invest in our movie industry. As he said, there is talent. There is talent among you, among me. He also said that you and I are the problem. Indeed, you and I are the problem. Local support. How many of us would rather go watch Nairobi Half-Life and go watch and juxtapose that to X-Men? Furthermore, airing times of the local content as compared to those of foreign origin. Now, Veve, a recently released movie, is airing in cinemas currently from Monday to Thursday between 5 and 6 p.m. Now, I go to a day school. School ends at 4. I don't have time for that. You, working at home, it ends at 4. 5, I beg your pardon, as well. So what time is it? Where do we get the time to go watch it? Again, we're all familiar with the little Alejandros. That is showing on television when we're at home. Why is it that we cannot watch Papa Shirandula at that same time? Ladies and gentlemen, with the 3 solutions that I have given, I believe it is clear, crystal clear, that indeed the Kenyan industry is suffering at the expense of foreign content. Thank you.
Third opposer, you also have 3 minutes to respond to the audience.
Fellow proponents, love the English. Now, I think it's quite clear, and with all due respect to the teachers who taught you, that you did not get your English solely from the real wives of Kawangware. No, you didn't. The problem is ourselves, as it has been stated by my fellow colleague. Now, on to the question. You're asking, I do have the answer. Now, if you look at the market, you will find that both Nairobi Half-Life and X-Men do go for 50 shillings. So basically, both are suffering, so you can't blame one for the other. Now, the Kenyan film industry needs to be firing up all its cylinders. And how do we do that? Well, first we need to stop playing the blame game. We need to stop instigating foreign content for the industry's wars. Now, human emotion, which is the key driving force in all these films, is the same all over. The only difference in content is the actors. Fact of matter is that we need to be working harder to discover and create a film, an aesthetic that can hold and build appeal for the Kenyan audiences. Now, something they cannot resist much, like, for example, the Nigerian Nollywood films. Now, in fact, like you find many Kenyans exclaiming Chineke, I'd like to have even a Nigerian exclaiming probably Mtu wangu, something of that sort. So the Kenyan film directors need to understand the audience and tailoring of the content to attract the Kenyan audience. Now, anything less and any less than that, and the audience will switch to the multitude, which is the alternative. Now, we do not want to shoot ourselves in the shoes, do we? Do we? Exactly. Thank you.
Closing remarks, first from the proposers. You have 1 minute.
By a show of hands, has anybody here heard of Riverwood? Okay, so apparently we're dealing with a very knowledgeable group of people who know Hollywood, Nollywood, Bollywood, and Riverwood. Let me talk a bit about Lupita Nyong'o, our darling girl, right? Now, nobody knew her before she acted in 12 Years a Slave. Did you know that she acted in Phoenix Players? Okay. Did you know that she acted for KFC? KFC? KFC is Kenya Film Commission, for those of us who didn't know. Right, so now my point basically is, this acting thing in Kenya isn't quite working, which is why, for you to be famous, you go to America, and then you win an Oscar there. And then Kenya loves you. But she wasn't loved that much when she was in Kenya, now was she? No. And why is that? I am convinced that that's because we're so busy watching Americans that when our Kenyan goes to America, there she is. We notice her. Thank you very much.
Opposition, you also have 1 minute for your closing statement.
Is it that our Lupita Nyong'o is foreign content? And how is she the problem to our film industry? Subjectivity, a matter that tends to actually gnaw at my nerves. I want you to come to me and show me that, in truth, maybe this statistic of Kenyans approve of a certain film, the X-Men, we're saying, and they approve of it and they shall not. So I want you to bring me facts and show me that, yes, here's a statistic that has been done. To finalize, your talent or your capability is your negotiator. That is a quote by Daniel Ndambuki, the famous Churchill. And the capital is what you require to actually give you a guarantee of success in life. So if we are to focus on Kenya and that we should grow our own industry, instead of actually saying that foreign content is the problem, then we are bound to grow. Thank you.
Strathmore School, Valiant Wayaki, very good. Jesse Mwangi, very good. Ron Kipchumba, very good. Utumishi Boys, Philip Profula, very good. Brian Munaita, very good. Billy Koech, very good. I think one of the things that I really wanted to hear is when you look at the cost of production in the country, what does it cost, for example, to produce an episode of a local program? But, you know, a very interesting submission by the two schools. All the best.
Strathmore, valiant, excellent, confident. I mean, I felt that you did your role well. However, in your first submissions, I felt like time went out. Jesse, your role is cross-examination. And when you come on board, we also want to see that coming out very strongly. Utumishi again, Philip, excellent. I think I must applaud you this time around. You came out very strongly. Your submissions were great. I mean, great and known and researchable facts that you have given out, and that was commendable.
A good debate is not that which answers all the questions, but a good debate is that which provokes questions for the purpose of self-evaluation. And I think this is one of the debates that we have not answered all the questions that we had, that you had rather, and also that we had, but you've made us think about those particular concerns that you've raised. Philip, Brian, Billy, good team. Valiant, Jesse, Ron, good team. All the best.
The judges awarded Strathmore School with 80%. Please give them a round of applause. For our winners, the judges awarded UTUMISHI Academy 81%.
Bravo to all the 6 gentlemen on stage. We say sometimes there are no losers, just winners and bigger winners. So from us here at the Great Debaters Contest, till next time, I have been your host, Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Yambo.
The Great Debaters Contest was brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.